Good morning once again, everybody. So I feel like it's obligatory, especially considering all the layoffs and firings and everything else going on in corporate America and the rest. For the love of God, for your own sanity, and for your own ability to persist and not lose your ass and potentially lose everything if anything goes wrong. Okay, because I mean, right off the bat, I can tell you that most of the corporations, when it comes to dependency trees, these are built so weak and so poorly. Everything is so fragile that one sneeze can take down an entire pyramid of dependencies in the supply chain. So, be that as it is, uh, for the love of God, especially if you're younger, do not buy a new car. Do not spend more than, I want to say, like 5 to 7,500. All right. This isn't financial advice. This is just me floating the idea. 5K to 7,500. Okay. Probably shouldn't go over that. All right. Try to find, if you need a vehicle, try to find a vehicle that's relatively cheap, and for the love of God, do everything you can to own it outright. All right. Because because for normal people right now, normal people find themselves in a position where they have 800 to $1,000, anywhere between six and a grand, really, but we're in a float with $1,000 car payment. All right, normal people have $1,000 car payments and $300 to $600 a month in insurance. Okay, $1,600 a month. $1,600 a month. When you look at the average rent, we're going to use 1,200, even though there are definitely 13, 14, 15, 1,600. We're going to go with 12. 1,200 for renting a small shit apartment, even if it's literally right next to the ghetto. All right, even if it's right next to the hood. All right, just over the line in the outskirts. So 1,600, 1,200. We're talking a lot of money now. All right. 2,800 just to be able to have a roof over your head and have a car. That's too damn much. That's too damn much. Okay. If you tack on just the sheer amount of maintenance cost, whether it's on the property or, even if it's a rental, you're not going to call the landlord constantly. Most people these days are afraid of calling their fucking landlord because they don't want any trouble. But if you think about maintenance on the car, a new set of tires, expensive. You think about the fact that modern cars, simple things like if you need a new battery on a modern car, you know that a bunch of the new cars, you actually have to reprogram the system when you change the battery. You literally have to reprogram these cars to change the battery. All right. I've had one. I've had one. And it's not just the battery. If you try to clean out the, forgetting it, the throttle body, all right, because occasionally the throttle body fills up with soot and shit, and eventually the butterfly in there, very big butterfly, but the butterfly in there ends up getting cracked open a bit. It starts running a bit differently because the soot and the grime build up around it. Eventually you get like a solid grain, and that just holds the flap open, starts fucking with your idle air and everything else. This, you don't want to deal with this shit. You don't. You have to strive to keep your costs as low as possible and start banking money as quickly as possible. Okay? Because the reality is the concept of stability is gone, and it's gone forever. All right. There is, I mean, there was no job security for a long time. All right. We haven't seen like legit job stability since the boomers were kids. Now we're to the point where things have become so unstable that even the companies where you had the job stability because nobody else could put up with that company's bullshit. All right. That was the only kind of stability there was, actually. Like, nobody else wanted to deal with these companies and their line of bullshit, but you end up working for one and you find a way to tolerate it. And you have a little bit of security in the fact that you show up every day and nobody else with a fucking brain cell wants to work there. All right. Even if it pays well, nobody else with a fucking brain cell really wants to work there because you know, a lot of the companies out there, I got to be honest with you, a lot of them are shit. They're poorly run, poorly managed, and it's a fucking miracle that they can bullshit the banks enough to continually borrow money and keep funding themselves through the fact that they can't honestly afford to operate their operation. That being said, keep your costs low, get an old car that you can fix yourself, where you can do literally everything you need to do on your own. Get one of those. Don't pay more than like 5 to 7,500 for it. Honestly, ideal 5 is the max, but honestly, it's fucked up. I have to say that because before COVID, you used to be able to get one of those old cars that just keep running for like 1 or 2 grand. All right, you could even probably scrape one up for $500. Okay, these cars, a lot of these cars, people got rid of them because oh my god, I have to have the nice new thing, and people giving up solid cars because they want something newer because it's either a status thing or they want a better luxury experience, and it's just like you gave away gold. Thank you, but you're fucking retarded for it. You know, it's a thing. You want to get a cheap old car that just works. Okay, own the fucker outright. Get the cheapest insurance that you can. All right. Of course, also not insurance advice, but ideally get the cheapest insurance that you can, maybe up it a little bit because everybody's driving a fucking Tesla they can't afford, things like that. There's a lot of people, shockingly, who are driving very high expense luxury vehicles, whether they can afford it or not. It's none of my business, but um, if you are at fault in a collision, obviously you might have a problem if you have bare minimum coverage. But ideally, you just want insurance that if something happens, you just walk away from it and you dip into whatever savings that you've managed to scrape together and you go out and you get another vehicle. Okay. Same concept. No more than 5 to 7,500. Honestly, if you can get by, this is one idea that I've been thinking of quite a lot recently. You know that you can get like a brand new scooter. I know. Gayest ride out there, gayest ride available. But you can get a legit motor scooter that tops out at like 47 miles an hour. You can get one of those for 2,500 brand new. And it's just like, holy shit. Honestly, even though it may be emasculating as fuck as a grown ass man to ride a scooter, I'm gonna tell you, 2,500 for something that can get you around town. You can't really take it on the highway. All right, not the best choice, but you can definitely get around on it. You can get to your job and back with it. All right, you can do this shit. All right. cheapest way to do it. It's brand new. All right. Keep your transportation cost low. Do everything you can, whether it's grouping up with family, friends, coworkers, do everything you can in order to bring down your cost to keeping a roof over your head. And then don't expand. Save the fucking money. Build yourself at least, oh, I want to say at least 10 grand. At least 10 grand worth of cushion. Ideally, way more than that. Ideally, as much as you can save up. But save up as much money as humanly possible. Keeping it in cash, that's questionable. Honestly, personally, I'm more of a fan of people saving in, silver, saving in gold. But everybody is free to do as they please. It is what it is. Keep your costs low, save up money. You have no idea if your job is going to be there tomorrow. And for the love of God, um, make sure that you have a fallback plan, a fallback option. Because if you do end up getting fired or laid off at the drop of a hat, it could happen to anybody, anytime, anywhere. You do not want to be in the position where you are fucking panicking, all right? Legit panicking because you stand to lose literally everything that you've built up. If you can't afford the roof over your head, next thing you know, all of your shit is out on the curb. Okay? You can't afford your car, next thing you know, the fucking repo guy's rolling up. Although, honestly, I'm questioning whether banks are even going to, or lenders are going to go to the repo companies anymore versus just trying to work out a deal. All right, deferred payments, something like that. Just because there have been so many car repossessions, we've blown past the 2008 height. Okay. There's been so many car repossessions that a lot of the repo lots are full. Absolutely full. And of course, when you have that many vehicles, trying to reclaim the full value or as much of the value as you can at auction of any of these vehicles becomes a lesser and lesser possibility as more and more cars fill the yards. All right. But you don't want to lose your car. You don't want to lose the roof over your head. You don't want to potentially lose everything that you've worked for, all the little bits and bobs, any kind of progress you made. It is difficult to build. It is easy to destroy. All right. Takes 10 times the effort to build than it does to destroy. That's why there's so many vultures and vampires in the system, all right, that just go out there and buy up companies for the sole purpose of ripping them apart and selling off every asset. And the fact that companies actually can borrow against a company they haven't bought yet, all right, in order to finance them to go out into the world, buy a company, buy an organization, and then just run the fucker into the ground. Okay? Keep your costs low, save your money, cut your costs however you can. And believe me, I get it. Everybody is fucking sick and tired of hearing, you gotta tighten your belt. Listen, the reality is this system is fucked up. It's cruel and it's horrible to normal people. It is getting harder out there, and you do not want to be. If you think that if you feel, I hate having to say this part, but if you feel safe and secure in your job and where you live and everything else, I'm going to tell you this right now. There is no such thing as security. There is the illusion of security, but there is no such thing as security. All right? No such thing. No such thing. All right? The reality is, I'm going to say it again. You got to stay strapped, stack your cash, keep your costs low, and get ready for fucking chaos because it could happen one domino after another, or the entire ceiling caves in and every single domino in the row gets crushed. Okay? things are not stable. They haven't been since 2019. All right. There's a reason that the cough ended up taking over the media, and why the cough was such a thing, and why conveniently the cough was the excuse to put a whole bunch of money in people's pockets, because we got to the point where there was no real liquidity left, or we're very close to the point where there was no more liquidity left in the real economy. And without having anything to extract, the paper economy started seizing and collapsing on itself. Okay? And conveniently, we're getting to that point again. But also tie in the fact, the sovereign nonsense and the craziness that's going on with the world, the fact that the European banking system needs Russian assets, but of course the Russians aren't going to sign over their assets, and that the American system as it stands is just not financially viable. It's not financially viable on many fronts, but we don't have the physical production, we don't have any of it. And the attempt to reindustrialize is nice. I'll believe it when I fucking see it. All right. Because for the majority, all I'm really hearing about and seeing is layoffs, firings, mass terminations. And this does not bode well going forward, because the more people who aren't participating in the system, the more things are going to cost just based on that alone. The less production, the less money circulating. It's a thing. It's a problem. But anyway, do the best you can, harden your position, and get ready for additional chaos wherever the fuck it comes from. Because honestly, keeping up with every potential route and venue is damn near impossible now. There is no resource that could not run into shortage right now. All right, that's the world we live in now. All right, all we need is a new tariff for a trade policy change, or somebody to come out, or a big orange guy to come out and say something on Twitter, and all of a sudden everything collapses. Okay, we do not live in a stable world. Act like it. Now, with that, I think I'm good for this one. If you like and appreciate the video, like, favorite, sub, share, do all the things, ring the bell, ding the bell, tick the bell, do all the things to your heart's content to the bell. Leave a comment. I do read them. Especially share it to people who you know are not living below their means. I don't know if they're going to listen, but at the very least, you could say that you tried. Hype it if it comes up. And if you're interested in personal or business consulting, stop by www.spadesconsulting.com without the dash. And I will see you all in the next one.